Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series of Computer Organization and Advanced Microprocessors. Today we are going to learn combinational circuits and sequential circuits. This is our 10th lecture, and in this lecture we will see the difference between the combinational circuits and the sequential circuits. So let's start with it. Okay, so now let's see what is the core difference between the combinational circuit and the sequential circuit. In the diagram that combinational circuit and sequential circuit. In combinational circuit, I have these two inputs, right? And this is my output. So I can say that this is my input and this is my output. And whatever I'll input, and based on that I'll get the output. So fine, output determined solely by the inputs only. But in sequential circuit, see, here I am giving some input, here also I am giving some input, and I get some output. But this output becomes the input for the next cycle, right? Here I am inputting something, here I am inputting something, I am getting some output, but this output is becoming the input for the next phase or a next cycle, right? So in that case, what does it mean? That whatever the output I'll get, my next phase output will be dependent on this output. Yes, so input as well as the output of the previous phase. So we can say that in a sequential circuit, output determined by inputs and previous output. So this is the core difference between the combinational circuit and the sequential circuit. In a combinational circuit, the output is only dependent on the inputs, and in sequential circuit my output is dependent on input as well as the previous output. Fine, so this is the core difference. Okay, now let's discuss some more points for the combinational circuit and sequential circuits. The very first point says its output is determined by the present value of input. Yes, we know that in a combinational circuit my output is totally dependent on the present value, that is my input. But in sequential circuit, present value as well as the past values, means I can say that the output of the previous operation or output of the previous cycle or a phase, we can say. So this is the sequential circuit. This is the first point. The second point says does not have a memory. It does not have a memory. Why? Because see, it's a combinational. When I am looking for the only inputs and I don't need to store anything, so I don't need memory. But in this case, when I am saying that I have present value as well as I have a past value, and past value means what? That if some previous operation already happened, in that case I need to store my past value for the current or a present operation. So in that case, to store the past value I need a memory. So sequential circuit has a memory. Now the third point says it does not have a clock signal. It does not require a clock. Clock signal, while sequential circuit requires a clock signal. What is the clock signal? What happens normally when you operate or when you trigger any circuit, you require a clock signal. So it's a trigger point, we can say, to operate or to start any circuit. So we have a clock signal for that. It is just like a trigger. Then combinational circuit, of course it is simpler compared to the sequential. It's easy to understand, while sequential circuits are more complex than combinational circuit. It's very simple thing. To design a combinational circuit, we use all the types of gates. We know that AND, OR, NOT, NOR, XOR, XNOR, all the gates we can use for the combinational circuit. Well, in sequential circuits, of course, we use all the gates along with the combinational circuits. Means here we can say that it might be possible that in a sequential circuit I have multiple gates and one or a more than one combinational circuit. So it's a combination. So if I say combinational circuit, so I can say that 1 2 3 4 5 6, these are the gates and all are connected. So this is my circuit, combinational circuit. Let's give the name C1. And if I want to design a sequential circuit and I have some points, some components I have, and it might be possible this whole C1 I'm attaching over here. So my all these components are connected with each other. So as you can see in this, that this sequential circuit contains all the gates along with the combinational circuit, while in a combinational circuit you have only some basic gates. So this is the fifth point, and the sixth point says some examples given: adder, subtractor, multiplexer, DMX, then decoder, encoder. And the sequential circuit examples are flip-flop, counter, shift registers. In this lecture series we will see the multiplexer, demultiplexer, decoder, encoder, and flip-flops. We will learn in detail. So this is about the difference between the combinational circuits and the sequential circuits. Okay guys, so it was all about the difference between combinational circuit and the sequential circuit. I'll share the reference material for this topic for your reference. So happy learning, keep learning. Thank you.